Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Will the ECB hook up to the Fed policy train and adopt average inflation targeting analysis? http ntvforex.com News ID 7D2FBB 98-2021 00:46 p.m. Outlook. The calendar this week includes the ECB policy meeting on Thursday. Analysts will be looking for two things: will the ECB hook up to the Fed policy train and adopt average inflation targeting, and what will Lagarde say about the euro? If anything, other releases are not top drawer, although hopes are high for German and US CPI on Friday. Aside from those things, the most interesting stuff this week will be the Fed's balance sheet and Treasury's budget funding statement, which has to be $3 trillion and perhaps a bit more. The employment numbers last week were misleading. For one thing, the jobs created data is collected the second week of August for the whole month. Don't forget to appreciate that the data collected next week will be the last data we get just before the election. We have a reading of 1.4 million jobs created in August and an 8.4% unemployment rate, but even apart from the newly permanently unemployment, we should add those forced to stay home to take care of kids, not to mention those well and truly permanently unemployed who just don't show up on any data list. The unemployed are 11 million, officially. We guess the number could be as much as double that, especially if you could add in the gray market workers. We might start getting a more realistic assessment of the economic consequences of the pandemic from studies done at an outfit named Calculated Risk, named by Bloomberg as taking the air out the sails of those who are cheered by the latest reports. Here's the theoretical underpinning: it is possible to consider the impact of the pandemic on employment as being similar to a large number of simultaneous worker strikes, and a concurrent severe recession. The sharp V-shaped jobs recovery is false because it fails to show the job-killing effect of the recession, which has barely hit yet. See the chart. And while many temporary job losses were really temporary, Bloomberg notes the ranks of the permanently unemployed people who say they don't expect to be called back to their job continue to shoot up at a faster pace than the Great Recession. How can Congress neglect this large swathe of the population? It may well be because fairness is not a principle of economics. Income inequality is a given. The stock market accepts it. Fixed income investors accept it. They are still coming from all over the globe to buy US paper, with no thought of an uprising or revolution that would lead to default. All this leaves us in Never Never Land, with the stock market unconvinced of the recession and sticking to the V-shaped recovery model, but economists increasingly worried that a country with GDP 2/3 dependent on consumption and vast unemployment is sure to stumble and may be unable to get up without a whole lot of help. The stock market is not the economy, but the economy is not the economy either, when all the data is both bad and backward-looking. As for the dollar, if it's strong because the economy seems okay, that's bad reasoning. If it's strong because traders expect a shock, that's another matter, even if we don't know exactly which shock Trump has in mind, probably China, but you never know. So far all these factors are closer to low-key than a marching band. But we have no reason to expect a change in the cycle or trendlet from this week's releases. We are very close to new signals in sterling, the NZD, and the Brazilian real, but hate to change signals after a 4-day holiday weekend. Can Lagarde change everything? Not high probability, but not zero, either. Watch positioning on Wednesday. US politics. Trump has called people who volunteer for military service suckers and those who get killed in war losers. The story has been around for a long time. McCain but got knitted together in an Atlantic magazine article. It was also reported, with video, on Fox News. A genuine holy cow moment. The White House, of course, denies. Hero pilot Sully, the guy who landed an airliner on the Hudson River, said Trump's attitudes are disgusting and he is unfit to be commander-in-chief. In rebuttal, Trump reversed himself on closing down the armed services newspaper Stars and Stripes, purportedly to save $15.5 million per year. This week no fewer than 3 Trump tell-all books are out, including the one by Trump's former lawyer Cohen. He says Trump runs the country as he ran his company, like a mobster. Over the weekend, Fareed Zakaria had a 1-hour CNN show on Trump and conspiracy theories that will chill you to your bones. Polling history says whoever is ahead 1 week after the political party conventions will win the election. According to 538.com's collection of polls, that's still bidden over Trump by 7.5 points, less than before but still a winner. The Economist version has bidden with an 84% chance of winning the Electoral College and Trump, a mere 15%. But we know not to trust these numbers, especially since we have yet to see the debates and the Trump October surprise. This is an excerpt from the Rockefeller Morning Briefing which is far larger, about 10 pages. The briefing has been published every day for over 25 years and represents experienced analysis and insight. The report offers deep background and is not intended to guide FX trading. Rockefeller produces other reports in spot and futures for trading purposes. To get a 2-week trial of the full reports plus trader's advice for only $3.95. Click here NBSP. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors.